You remember that weird feeling when a team looks like it's sleepwalking through its own season? That's Green Bay right now. Not dead, not spectacular, just flat. 2 weeks ago, we were nodding at their 2-0 start and thinking, okay, this could be something. Tonight, they scored 7 points at Lambeau against the Eagles and left the stadium with the kind of silence that sticks in your chest. This isn't panic theater yet, but it's the kind of slow, legitimate worry that creeps into a fan base and refuses to leave. Let's be blunt. An offense that produces once in 10 possessions does not win games. The Packers had chances. They always seem to have chances. But Jordan Love and his unit couldn't turn opportunities into momentum. That's not just a bad night. That's a pattern. And patterns are what tell you whether a slump is a thing you can coach out of or a structural problem that will haunt you come January. Start with the quarterback. Love hasn't been bad this season. He's shown flashes of real growth, timing, pocket feel, the occasional dagger on rhythm throws. But last night, he had a pile of chances to make just a couple of game-defining plays and didn't. When the easy plays evaporate, you start asking uncomfortable questions. Was it pressure? Were receivers late? Did the scheme give Love the right rhythm to work? The answers are usually a little bit of all of that, and small deficits in each area compound into a terrible result. Receiver drops matter. They're not sexy in highlight reels, but they're the rot in the foundation you notice later when the house creaks. When your wideouts let the ball fall in crucial windows, the offense grinds to a halt. Green Bay's passing game relies on timing, quick outs, slants, in and out routes that punish soft coverage. If those windows close, Love's options narrow and he either holds the ball too long or throws into tight windows. Neither outcome ends well. Protection? Not perfect. The offensive line has had moments of stability, but pressure is a constant. A few missed blocks, a late blitz pickup failure, and suddenly your young QB is asking for miracles. When you're constructing an offense around anticipation and quick strikes, consistent protection isn't a bonus, it's a mandate. And when the pockets collapse, the whole plan devolves into improvisation. But here's the thing that really pins the worry on the map. This is not an isolated bad game blip. A 2-0 start gave people headlines and hope. The follow-up, losses to the Browns and Panthers, and now the Eagles, reads like a trend. It's not just that they lost, it's how they looked losing. Mechanical, tentative, like a team that has forgotten how to finish drives. In a division as competitive as the NFC North, you can't afford long stretches of forgetfulness. Now let's be fair. The Packers aren't in a ditch. They're 5-3-1. That's a record you can work with. It buys you time and leeway. But it's both a blessing and a curse. The record hides problems until they become harder to fix. If this group can find rhythm, they'll look like a playoff team again. But if the offense keeps flatlining, wins will start evaporating fast because the margin for error in this conference is razor thin. So what does Aaron Rodgers' old team need to do? First, simplify. Strip down the menu and let Love play fast. When a quarterback is having a messy night, the remedy is not more complexity. It's clear reads and quick releases. Give him hot routes, quick play action that gets the ball into the hands of reliable guys, and a running game that keeps the defense honest. The Packers still have talent. They just need fewer moving parts while they patch the protection. Second, fix the details that matter most. Drops and penalties. Those two things are like salt in an open wound. Small, stupid mistakes that turn manageable games into desperate ones. Coaches can emphasize fundamentals all week. Catch the ball, finish blocks, clean up your angle on third down plays. It's boring work, but those drills are the reason some teams win ugly and others lose pretty. Third, coaching has to be honest. If a call is consistently not working, weak side runs against heavier fronts, certain third down concepts that get stuffed, adjust. The play sheet should not be a relic. It should be a living document that shifts to the team's current capabilities. If the O-line is struggling, call more quick game pass concepts and rollouts. If receivers are late, prioritize high percentage completions. Small, surgical changes now beat sweeping panic moves later. There's also a mental element. Teams can get haunted by one bad stretch and play like they're trying not to lose instead of trying to win. That switch from attack to not get beaten changes body language, second effort, and the tiny competitive decisions that add up. Coaches need to stamp authority back into the team's mindset. Finish blocks, win 50-50 balls, be the harder team to hate. Those are the little cultural resets that flip a season. And yes, fans will murmur about the coach and the play caller and every heroic narrative that sells on social media. But panic isn't a strategy. The Packers have a quarterback who can grow, a locker room with veterans, and enough talent to be dangerous. The question is whether they'll treat these next 2 weeks like checkpoints, honest evaluations and fixes, or let the slippage become the new baseline. Here's the practical 6-game forecast in your head. If they clean up protection and tighten the short game, they'll likely be in the playoff conversation. If the offense continues to sputter, they'll be fighting for wildcard crumbs. It's that simple. The equation isn't mystical. It's execution plus health plus attitude. One last thing. This is the NFL's cruel beauty. Teams change fast. A new blocking scheme, a hot streak from a receiver, or a single inspired fourth-quarter drive is enough to flip the whole season narrative. Green Bay's fate is not written in a single Monday night box score. But the clock is ticking. Fixes need to be quick and surgical. This team can recover if it shows the discipline to do the small things right, starting on Monday. So are you panicking? Not yet. Are you watching the warning lights blink? Absolutely. The Packers don't need genius. They need basics, accountability, and a little aggression, not on the stat sheet, but in how they attack the fundamentals. Do that, and Lambeau will be loud again for the right reasons. Don't, and the quiet will get louder. You don't need a microscope to see the problem. You need a defibrillator. 2 stinkers in a row, and the Green Bay Packers offense looks less like a well-oiled machine and more like a car that won't start on cold mornings. A 16-13 loss to the Carolina Panthers felt alarming. Monday's 10-7 home loss to the Philadelphia Eagles felt terrifying. This isn't a blip. It's a pattern that, if left unchecked, will cost the Packers a season they still had a real chance to control. Let's be blunt. 7 points on 10 possessions is not a game plan. It's a protest. The Packers moved the ball willy-nilly at times, but the offense never clicked when it counted. Jordan Love isn't the problem at a glance. He's been mostly solid this season, but good QB play needs good context. Routes need to be run cleanly, protection needs to hold, and the plan needs to be bold enough to compel defenses to respect every phase of the field. Against the Eagles, none of that happened. Receivers dropped throws. The offensive line didn't hold up. Tight windows got tighter. The scoreboard reflected the chaos. There are a few obvious culprits to point at. Missing bodies matter. The team has been without receiver Jayden Reed since week 2, and tight end Tucker Kraft wasn't available Monday. Those absences stripped the offense of spacing tools and reliable short area security blankets. But we can't pin this entirely on injuries. Good teams find ways. Great coaches scheme around personnel losses. A truly functional offense does not look this helpless when the depth chart gets thinner. Blocking was porous. Pressures turned promising drives into 3-and-outs or punt setups. When the line can't consistently create a 2-second pocket, Love has to do extra work. And that usually means trying to manufacture plays with his feet or forcing throws to windows that aren't there. That's how interceptions, sacks, and stalled drives pile up. The tape shows it. The pocket gets squeezed, the route timing breaks, and receivers are left to run toward a place the ball never reaches. Drops are a problem too, but again, they're a symptom, not the disease. When the quarterback is late or low from pressure, even the best hands look bad. The difference between a catch and a drop on Monday night was often a half step or a slightly off-target ball. Clean the pocket, and a lot of those drops turn into completions. Game planning is another area that's flashing red. Green Bay's offense has leaned too often on conservative scripts and short area dink and dunk attempts in critical moments. That's fine as a baseline, but only if the team mixes in enough vertical or intermediate threats to keep defenses honest. The Eagles dared the Packers to run it slow, and Green Bay obliged, play after play, while the crowd got quieter and the clock turned against them. For a coach with a 72-36-1 record like Matt LaFleur, this is an avoidable strategic failure, not a surprise. 2 losses like this test the fabric of a season in 2 ways, practical and psychological. Practically, the NFC is crowded. Half a dozen teams are waiting for a wobble. A fumbling offense in November loses home field advantage quickly.